Alireza, it's back to equality. Hikaru was a bit fortunate at the end. Dead lost all game. How did he pull that off, Levy? How?
I have nothing to say, and he's like meditating, dude. I've never seen that. He's straight up breathing and catching his breath. They took like 10 minutes off the game clock with that game, if not more. I don't know. That was unfathomable how he saved that game.
Best defender in the world. He's earned that reputation over many years. He's just surviving long enough to get that chance was incredible. Just to mention, there was a threat of checkmate. The white queen was not hanging a few moves ago. And now there's a very famous trap. The knight taking the pawn would have backfired, as white's pieces would have been a bit too loose. This is still a very well-known theory. Caruana, nice to see it.
Yeah, this line has been played a ton recently. And I tried to study it with the black pieces and then just decided I was not going to do that. The two knights Caruana is quite a weapon. In fact, I feel like you've played it with white.
I've played it with white, and every time I play the Caruana with black in classical chess, everyone plays the two knights against me.
Yeah, there's no way to like fully equalize with black anymore. That's what it feels like. It's just always under some pressure.
Yeah, and it's very safe. Like risk-averse players will always choose that. Either you get the bishop pair early, or you get a position like this where you have a nice bind in the center. But long-term, black is still in decent shape. At some point, the bishop will fianchetto c5 at the right moment, and pieces come to life. Alireza tends to be playing the Caruana when he wants to win, when he wants to kind of get that double-edged fight.
It's interesting he didn't go e4, e5.
Yeah.
Just out of inertia.
I think emotion now. I think both players are feeling it. That neither of them have been perfect.
What? He just hung a... What? Queen f3 ideas in the air, as well as like just a pure kingside attack.
Queen f3, that would hit the rook, that would hit the pawn, that might land on f6. Levy, I think there's tactics against the black king. I've played very similar positions as black, and I always tend to find myself hit by some queen checks, maybe some rook lifts later. Taking that knight's got to be so tempting.
Yeah, because you take and you play queen g4, and then you make the king go to the corner, and then you... Okay.
And queen f3?
Yes, and then, yes. That's a double question mark. Was that just winning for white?
Levy, I'm going to bring it back. This game is going to continue. The pawn is captured. It becomes much more normal now. Let's just show what Hikaru Nakamura missed in that move. Maybe with another minute, I think he would have found it. Bishop takes knight. Queen check is very strong, but apparently he can win on the spot, which is wild. He can play queen to h5. This is not me. This is the computer. And if the knight is now captured, white gives a sneaky check. Another check, forces the king onto an open line, and then rook lift. GG, game over. That is crazy. It actually continues, and now you just slow play it. You take the pawn, and at the right moment, you give a check.
And black can't go back to e7 because the king can't escape anymore.
But this would have been glorious. This would have been a perfect way to end the portion, but tough to see.
This would have been like a dagger in the heart of Firouzja, because this would have been vicious for him. Although he would have just resigned. Mm-hmm. If this was the last game of the segment, you lose two games like this, it can be very crushing. But the game will go on, and is black better? What is going on?
Yeah, he's just offered a queen trade instead, Hikaru, and after the drop of the queen, yeah, he's trapped his own damsel here, the queen lacking squares. Hikaru loves getting the queens off against the younger generation, especially the likes of Alireza, but that is a bit, I don't know, compliant, just asking black to improve the position.
Now is he calculating bishop f6 like knight c4 some idea, or why can't he just play queen e2? Just very simple.
I think he might have to, but the queen did just come from there, so it would be an admission of a loss of tempo. Yeah, the other move to calculate is bishop takes knight. But then, yeah, it's not the same without any direct attack on the black king. Here we go.
I do wonder here if you feel so relieved winning the previous game, you almost free roll this one. Mm-hmm. You just feel like, I'm up one, I can sort of take my liberties here, but no, not against Firouzja.
Yeah. Oh, bishop to a6 he was thinking about. But nope, a capture.
That would have been nice.
And what will we see now? The knight dropping back to this square. Provocative, asking the black pawns to advance. The knight dropping back to f3.
I don't understand why after knight f3 the position is so good for black. Like knight f3, queen h5, it just feels like maybe there's something, but likely there is zero. Actually, maybe black can just play king h8, rook g8, and actually you're going to get checkmated in the long run.
Yeah. Bishop on b7, rook on g8, as you say. That looks a bit scary. Still needs some time to set it up, though. Hikaru, yeah, just imagine being in the lead after being in such horrible positions so many times with the black pieces. If you can strike now, that could be just Yeah, I think psychologically impossible to recover from. But 1 minute against 4.
I still don't quite get it. Like, just go back to F3. Okay, we go back to G4, fine. But he almost might be spending all this time to make sure this is the last game.
That would make sense, but maybe later in the game when it's an ending, a rook endgame, play on and on and on forever. But this early in the game, to be down 3 minutes.
Maybe he doesn't want to play with black again.
True, true. Who would? Those positions.
It's been a disaster. Like, it's actually been... Granted, he is playing the a6 Slav. Like, Alireza is just sort of playing straightforward chess. But still, it's been really tough.
F5 looks so logical. Why not play that? It also threatens to trap the queen. Like, the white queen has only got 1 square to escape to right now on h5 or over that direction. Otherwise, bishop to a6 would be a game ender. So f5... I guess the knight isn't hit. I was going to say, if the knight moves now, if it retreats, for example, bishop a6 is game over. How to save everything.
And to be clear, it's not hanging because of queen g5 and queen f6. That would be a perpetual check. It's there. Would be, if the bishop was on the other diagonal, you could even be winning in some lines, but the white bishop is not on the better diagonal. And now Firouzja has to seize the move.
Oh, Levy.
Oh.
Tactics, that is beautiful. Queen takes queen would be met by a knight check, a knight fork, a royal one, and the queen would be regained.
And then you'd win.
Let's show it, let's show it. This is not happening, ladies and gentlemen, but queen takes queen would be a huge blunder as this final position. A rook would be hit, a bishop would be attacked, and white would win material. That is beautiful geometry from Hikaru, and maybe missed by Alireza. He hasn't responded. He needs to find rook to d8 now.
That sucks. Like, you think you've done everything right, and he does find rook d8. He's good enough at stabilizing his emotions and finding the best move, but it must suck to get hit with a move like queen d7.
I was looking at it, I was like, wait, I was just talking about the white queen being trapped for ages. What's wrong with this? But look at this, yeah, he's still in the game. Eval bar still on black side because of the bishop pair long term, now with queens off the board. But he's causing some confusion.
This knight is a cat with 9 lives, just jumping around into squares that should never go. Now it hits the bishop. The bishop has to go all the way back to c8, or else you straight up just lose it. And then the knight will come back to d3.
Solid again for Hikaru. I think most people would still take black there just because of the bishop pair. Most grandmasters, especially the clock times, but...
What's Firouzja thinking about?
Rook trade first.
Bishop e2?
Bishop, ooh, back ranker.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a better diagonal. Just hide somewhere over here, take the d-file.
And he's like, hey, you hit me with a sacrifice right in front of my face. I can do the same.
Oh, that is cunning. No rook trade first. First bishop e2. That is nice, Levy.
That was just like, well, he started thinking, and I'm like, am I missing something? Yeah, clearly, bishop e2.
That is super smart. And white doesn't seem to have any tactics there to take advantage. Okay, fighting back Hikaru. Although Alireza has this nice move now. Bishop e2. Will he find it? There's nothing wrong with bishop c8. I think that's fine too, but just the psychological effect. Active bishop.
Yeah, I was just going to say, at this point, it's not even about finding. It's just about decision-making. Like, one feels really flashy, but potentially stupid, and the other one feels passive and potentially stupid. And that's chess. Which one is less stupid?
Yeah, I think stupid would be burning all your time on this one decision.
Indeed. Indeed it would. But this will be the last game. The timer has expired, so the boys can entertain us. And just like we all planned, we had 2.5 hours of a 1.5 hour format.
Yeah, still plenty ahead. Bishop c8 is the decision, and yeah, this was the downside. I realized the white bishop suddenly more active on a nice outpost. The white knight will drop back now, probably to the b3 square, just to keep the black bishop tied down to a pawn here.
That is nice. And then a5 is just a problem long term.
Yeah, and I just like the queenside setup there. The white bishop on b5, the knight back sitting on a nice square. Still black has the kingside majority, so we'll start advancing at some point. But stability, that is the first step for Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah, maybe bishop d7 or something along those lines, like almost a force. Okay, he does this.
Bishop d7, maybe those rook takes d7.
Yeah, but I was thinking like you just go for the endgame. Maybe it's just bad. But yeah, this I don't like for white. I don't know why black is just better according to Stockfish, but...
Yeah, this backward pawn, this c pawn.
Yeah.
The black bishops, I'm very biased towards the bishop pair in general, but suddenly they look so stable.
Honestly, I'm like a sports fan wearing 2 sports jerseys over the other. Like every other move, I'm like, oh, white's position's nice, black's position's pretty good. Yeah, I like rook c8, rook c2. Rook e2, Hikaru will have to play and just sort of buckle down in the long run. And oh, what a move! That is ugly.
Ooh. Backward pawn's going to keep the white pieces passive for a while. At some point, there we go. Harry the h-pawn entering the fray. h4, h3, destabilize the white pieces. And okay, there's one nice piece now for white, the knight. But look at those dark squares, Levy. That is, oh, that's so weak.
Hikaru's building a little fortress of light square pawns. He's just like, you can't break through. Alireza's going to have to figure out a way to sacrifice something or break through the pawn here, David.
Exactly. I could even imagine a king march later, a glorious king march in.
Oh, that might be it.
Maybe.
That really could be it. Like something has to tip over.
It feels like even with all the rooks off now, maybe black's winning because of an entry point for his king. So perhaps that is one possible plan for Alireza. If he can't find a breakthrough, get the rooks off and try to infiltrate later. But he's keeping... Oh, he's blundered a5, has he? Oh, he saves the bishop.
Take it. Maybe you can take it. I think maybe there's some positions you can beat down the exchange, but totally fine.
Take the bishop, you mean there?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he should. Will we see a repetition?
No repetition.
The game goes on. And the king's coming.
Oh my God, this is scary for black.
This is the best position.
Yeah, but okay. Now it's probably just equal.
Opposite color bishops. I think maybe black still for choice. Watch out, rook e5. Mating net closing around the white king.
Wow, that came out of nowhere.
But blocked.
Just bring it all back, Hikaru style. Bishop c4, bishop e2 for the rest of the game. King g5, there's the king walk.
Let's go. Alireza is the one playing on, but the clock is going to play a huge role. No way through, blockade.
Did he lose on time? Oh,
draw by repetition, just in the nick of time, and Hikaru takes his lead into the 3+1 segment.
That was so tense. And I do wonder if we could, on the break, I'm going to see if we could have sacrificed that rook to put some pressure in the endgame. Hikaru's got to be delighted with this finish of the segment. I wonder if we're going to be throwing to an interview downstairs with John. But we'll see.
Sorry, I can't do it right now. Sorry.
Oh, Hikaru means business. He wants to head out for a proper break. Yeah, just his clutch play. Like when he's got his back against the wall. So impressive.
Oh, he is with John now. We will get an interview with Hikaru.
Thank you very much, folks. Hikaru, that was a very back and forth first segment. Extremely exciting for the audience, of course. Both players making mistakes at times, but ultimately a very exciting match. Talk us through what your thoughts are so far and how you feel the level of Alireza is today. And of course, you guys have played each other so many times. You must be very familiar with him.
Yeah, no one's gonna like my answer. It'll be pretty short. Alireza's played a lot better than I have, but he's mismanaged his time, and that's why I'm in the match. So I'm gonna have to play a lot better in the next portion in order to stay alive.
Look, being aware of that sort of thing and tweaking your strategy accordingly, some argue that's half the psychological battle won, right? It sounds like you're feeling pretty optimistic of where you're at.
I mean, I could hardly play any worse than I have, and somehow I'm leading the match. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, thank you very much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Stage, back over to you. We're going to go to the next segment next. Very exciting so far.